Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru Tirra, and today I want to look at a natal chart, the one of Octavia Butler. We're going to do an Astro case study. I do this because I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom such as astrology and the goddess-centered lifestyle. And so one of the reasons I love doing astro studies or astro case studies is because it shows us, first of all, astrology is on point. Secondly, it helps us to understand quite a bit about perhaps why did certain things happen to people that have happened to them, which then translates over to us and we can better understand our chart. And why things are happening with us. And so, Octavia Butler is one of the most requested charts for me to look at. And so I decided to look at her chart today. I have to be honest. I know Octavia Butler. I have not studied her works in depth. I can't go into all the details. I definitely looked up a little bit about her life and I see certain things that I'm like, wow. This tells the story. This astrology, it tells the story. I do not have her time of birth. Where is this chart? Oh, I don't have her time of birth. But we have the date of birth, June 22nd, 1947. I have to be honest with you all. When somebody is born and we don't have their time of birth, I didn't even look to see was the sun in two signs. It's called being born, people say on the cusp, but you're either born in the sign of, say in her case, Gemini, or you're Cancer. But they have her as a Cancerian. The time that they're probably using is noon. I think that's probably correct based on what I learned about her focus and her past. So we're just going to go with her being a Cancer. When you don't know your time of birth, one of the things you can do is take your sun and put it on what we call the rising sign, which means you want it to be where it's number one. Okay. I use the whole sign system because when you don't know someone's time of birth, that's really all you're going to get. That's all you can work with because you don't know their rising sign. But if you don't know someone's time of birth, just use the whole sign house system. If that doesn't make sense to you, don't even worry about it. Eventually, I'll be teaching classes and can help y'all better understand that. But for those who do understand, like put it in at like 6 o'clock, and you just want to keep putting it in until you can get that sun in this first house. Okay. So that's what I did for her. I put her as a Cancer. And we're going to look at it from this vantage point, from her sun sign, which I can tell y'all the sun sign is, it has to do with career. So putting her sun in this house that has to do with the first stage of life is very smart because so much of her life is her career, actually. It doesn't look like she was married. If she was, they did not list that in Wikipedia. I don't see anything about children. So her career was very prominent, very important. Whatever her rising sign is, I would imagine her 10th house was very important because the 10th house has to do with what are you known for? And it's a house that can be, that has to do with prestige and your career. And it's at the top of the chart. So it's like, this is where you shine. Okay. It's other things that go in there with it for those who know astrology, but we know that 10th house is important, along with, even though this is not correct in her chart because you can only get this MC point. It's your career point with the time of birth. And so, but that's another thing to look for. And I can imagine she has something extremely prominent about that 10th house and about that MC because she was so successful in her career. That's what she's known for. She's known for her career. So let's see here. So she's a Cancer sun, and she has Mercury in Cancer. So automatically we know that this is a sign that's going to be of interest. The sun in Cancer could, well, I would say that it speaks to this very feminine upbringing that she had. And Cancer has to do with ancestors and history, mothers. She was raised by her mom and her grandma because her dad died when she was 7. The sun is one of the planets that we can connect to with the dad. Let's see here. And I can tell you, I knew something was going to be up with her health that has to do with her heart. I knew it when I looked at this Leo house. Okay. And that's because her moon is there. And I want to show y'all something. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. And if you don't know your time of birth, one of the ways to figure out where's the moon? Is the moon in one sign on the day you were born, or was it in 2 signs? Okay. Because if it's only in one sign, you can be confident that the moon that you see in your chart is correct. Okay. Oh, close it. So all I did was I typed in as a search, where was the moon on, this says June 22nd. Oh, June 21st. Okay. I went down to 2. I put, where was the moon on June 22nd, 1947. That's all I did. So let's say you're like me, you don't know your mom's time of birth. You want to find out, where was her moon? Was it in one sign? Then just type in, where was the moon, and put your mom's birthday. So for her on the 22nd, the moon was only in Leo. Okay. So it didn't move into Virgo until Monday, the 23rd. So it was only in Leo. So we can, with confidence, know that that time was correct. And this is using, maybe, I don't know if maybe I have this set up, but it's using the 24-hour time. So yeah, let's say she was born on the 21st. If we didn't know her time of birth, we wouldn't know if that moon was in Cancer or Leo. Sometimes you can ask the person, or if it's you, you can think about, is your moon more like Cancer? Is it more about like Leo? Is what I would ask her. I have no question that her moon is in Leo, though, because she's an artist. She's a writer. She's very creative. And so, yeah, like I was pretty certain that moon was correct. But that's just a pro tip for you if you don't know your time of birth. You can look it up and see where was the moon on the day you were born. And if it was just in one sign, then that you can count on that moon. She was also born in a crescent moon phase. I did not point that out. The moon phase that you were born in tells a lot about your personality. The crescent moon is actually a very creative moon, which we know she's known for creativity. She's a writer. But going back to her dad, the sun is the planet of Leo. So if I wanted to know what happened to her dad, like, can I see something just using this chart that would tell me something went down with her dad? So the sun rules Leo. Immediately, I'm going to look to see what's going on in Leo. Well, we see the moon is there, but we also see Saturn is in Leo and Pluto. These are some harsh planets, okay? And sometimes Saturn is actually connected to the dad, okay? And so Saturn it can have to do with death. It really can, along with Pluto. Pluto definitely has to do with death. And so we have these 2 harsh planets in the sun sign of Leo. We have Saturn, which could be the dad, close to Pluto, which is the great destroyer. And that could be an indication of her dad dying early. Something with the dad that's traumatic. I'll put it that way. If I didn't know the story, I would say she probably had something go down with her dad. Her mom was probably good, but her dad, maybe not so much. So I'll go ahead and just keep going. So that was something that I thought was really interesting. I sort of wonder if she is a Scorpio. Just looking at her, I feel like Scorpio or Taurus. Now, she does have a planet in both Taurus and Scorpio. She just has this Taurus look. Her life is sort of scorpionic because she lost her dad at a young age. She was raised up sort of rough, and that kind of goes with that moon. Well, maybe not rough, but very strict upbringing, strict Baptist upbringing. So if we were to look at this from her moon, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that 4 signs from the moon, 1, 2, 3, 4 is how you count it. 4 signs from the moon is Scorpio. A lot of people will be surprised. Leos, they have it rough. I know folks be dogging Leo, but Leos, some of them are raised up in a lot of trauma, a lot of drama, a lot of chaos. And it's probably, just a blessing that they have so much charisma to be able to survive all of that and not let it hold them down. So from her moon, is that, which the moon is the mom, it's Scorpio. And we have what in Scorpio? Jupiter. What does Jupiter do? It makes everything get big. Okay. Scorpio has to do with trauma and wounding. She has Chiron there, which is the planet that has to do with wounding. Or in this case, she wasn't necessarily wounded, although her dad did die when she was young. That's traumatic. I mean, she was 7. So like she knew that. She had an understanding of what happened. And so, yeah, I just think that kind of speaks to some of what we see that's a little bit traumatic with her. But that's why I choose Scorpio, but also the Taurus. She just has a Taurus look to me. And another reason I think Scorpio, I actually don't know, was she a tall woman? I don't know why I perceive her to be tall. But Scorpio, yes, Jupiter can make things big. And so if she wasn't tall, y'all, let me know, because I'm like confused. So she has Mars in Taurus. And okay, I'm gonna go ahead and speak on this. Let's just start talking about her writing career. So what are the writing indications that I see in her chart? Number 1, we have Mercury in her sun sign. So that's automatically bringing this energy of writing, using your hands, using your mind, being very mental, being good at business, maybe also networking, teaching. And so, that's something that matches what was going on with Miss Butler. So, and the other thing too is there was something about her that really appealed to Black people, even though I know she was mostly known for science fiction, if I remember correctly. But that Cancer always connects people to their ethnic group or some home base that is, where they're from. It always connects them to that. So that's that. The sun in Cancer. I can tell you this. This is interesting. This is really interesting, because what I was going to say is, in ancient times, Cancer or the moon was connected to writing in ancient times. So the moon in Cancer, this has to do with writing. And we have the moon in Leo and the sun in Cancer. So they are like helping each other out. They're in each other's signs. And so if we say the moon has to do with writing and it's in Leo, that's bringing up a lot of creativity. And of course, the sun being in Cancer, also related to Leo, it's just bringing even more to this ability for her to write. Or to be creative. And so I just wanted to tie that into when I saw the Mars in Taurus. Taurus is a sign that has to do with creativity also. Mars opposition Jupiter. One thing I can say about her was she was a little bit rebellious. It sounded like she didn't want anyone to put her in a box. So it could have been that. There also could have been some push and pull, and maybe people know a little bit better because I didn't look totally into everything. But this push and pull between Jupiter, which has to do with good fortune and wisdom and the law, is opposite Mars, which has to do with passion and drive. And so it could have been there was some push and pull, maybe in what she wrote about, what people wanted her to write about. Also, I don't know if she had, good experiences with money when it came to making, writing books, but I did see that she was awarded something. I can't remember what it was that she was awarded, but it was worth almost $300,000. So I could see how these planets could play out where things worked out with her, but it may have been with a struggle because these planets are opposite each other in these money houses. But I could see her being really into research, maybe or really writing about things where you take a deep dive or writing about something that's taboo. I could imagine that the way she wrote, and I'm sure I've read some of her work, but I haven't looked at it lately. So I don't have a favorite piece by her. So I would love to hear from you all. And it's probably sort of good that I don't have any color when it comes to her, no filter, I should say. And so others can kind of chime in, but I can imagine that the way she wrote was one in a way that it was like people were like all in. You could just really get in there. It was sensory. You felt like you were there. And it was probably, I don't know why, I just feel like it was probably like one of a kind writing, very unique, very creative, but yet still like, man, I can read this and I know what's going on. I don't have to do a whole lot of interpretation just to read the words because she could just write straightforward. So y'all let me know, is that true? And so another reason why I think that she was sci-fi is because Uranus is in Gemini with Venus. So Venus is very creative and Gemini is writing, it's communication. And so that is another indication of writing. And Uranus is about something that's out there. And it's sciencey, it's sci-fi. It's like all the sci-fi channel or shows that in movies that we love. This is Uranus, okay? And so this is why she marched to the beat of a different drummer in terms of what she wrote about. This is why I could imagine, maybe she was a Virgo rising, and this was her 10th house sign. Because I could just imagine she was ahead of her time. She was, she was ahead of her time and very new, maybe even for, what was I going to say? I have so many thoughts going through my mind right now, but anywho, I can imagine that this would be this would have something to do with the career. Okay. This could definitely have something to do with the career because, she was sciencey. And that's what Uranus is about. And it's with Venus, and Venus is in Gemini, which has to do with writing. And this North Node up here is in Gemini. She would have been having a nodal return this year because the nodes of the moon have been in Gemini and Sagittarius. So that's fascinating. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are freaking amazing. The fact that I've received so many requests about her is, number one, it was close to her birthday when I asked, who do y'all want me to cover? And number two, we are experiencing eclipses. This little thing right here and this one right here, it lets you know where are the eclipses happening. And so these are happening in Gemini and Sagittarius. So, wow, that's interesting in a very weird way. Wow. But wherever the North Node is, it'll make you run in that direction. It'll make that part of your chart very prominent. And so that's why I'm like, well, maybe she was a Virgo rising, because this has to have something to do with her career because of that Uranus. That's my thought. Let me see here. Now, the way she died, I was like, no question. I can see this could be an issue for her because her moon is in Leo. And so Leo is the heart. And so they say, it wasn't definitive, but it could have been a heart attack, I think, or a stroke. Maybe it's a stroke. Something with the cardiovascular system happened. And it was all of a sudden, she fell down outside of her home. And so, but a lot of it does sound like it has something to do with the heart. And I just say, I would not be surprised because of where this moon is and these harsh planets are here. We don't know the exact degree of her moon, but that moon in Leo, it was receiving quite a bit from this Scorpio house and this Taurus house, because Saturn is another hardcore planet. That's not a planet to play with. It's not a planet, Mars. It's not a planet to trifle with. So that moon, it was getting beat up a little bit. The moon is, what do we need? It's about our emotions. It's about our body, our health, our well-being. I cannot overstate the importance of the moon. And so, I was not surprised to hear that she had something going on with her cardiovascular system, and that's how she ended up dying. Why did she die so young? I don't have her time of birth, so I can't really see why would she die so young. Yeah, I don't have a rising sign, so I don't really know why she would die so young, but I'm not surprised that she died the way that she died. So yeah, let me know any other questions that you have about her chart. I just am looking at her career, and there's no question I would look at this chart and think, yeah, this person, very creative, very creative. This person is not afraid to touch on dark topics, taboo topics. Perhaps there was some trauma in her life, some hard times that she could have experienced. But I can see, anytime, this is the last thing I'll say, anytime you have planets in Leo, you might be center stage and stand out in the crowd. So she had 3 planets there. That's pretty hefty. That's a lot of planets. Okay. And then she had that, it's called mutual reception between the sun and the moon. So that was just bringing a lot of energy to this Leo essence, this standing out in the crowd, center stage. It's no surprise that she was a star, that she is still a star. And so we honor the great Octavia Butler. We are so grateful for the work that you have done and the lives that you have touched. Another thing that you can look at in a person's chart is how much do they have fixity. So when you look down here, this is on astro.com, you can see she had a lot of fixity. This F stands for fixed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in fixed signs. So she was consistent. She was there. Like, she was gonna get that thing done. She was immovable. She was a pillar. She was grounded. I can imagine she was very grounded and certain of herself. I remember reading something and people were trying to push her in one direction, and she was like, nope, not doing it. The other thing that I think is interesting about her is her sun is in Cancer along with her Mercury. That gives her also the energy of, new beginnings and starting things, and not being afraid to start a new project. This is probably why she wrote so many books. She wasn't afraid. She was going to go on ahead and get that thing going, because that's what cardinal signs do. They're the beginning of a thing. But yeah, she has a lot of fixity. I think that Cancer helped her to be an initiator, and no one had to drag her. Once she got going, she was unstoppable. That's one thing I will say. Actually, me and Octavia Butler have some of the same placements, because my Mars is in Taurus, my Jupiter is in Scorpio, and they're opposite each other. So one thing I can say about Mars in Taurus is it makes the person be able to work a lot. Like, I have to really tell myself, stop being a workaholic. Rest and relax. But this person can really have some sustained energy. They will stick there to the end. And so she had that going for her, with that Mars being in Taurus. And just her ability to create, or maybe, I don't know if she had sequels or anything like that, but this Geminian energy that she had is what allowed her to maybe, how do I say it? I wonder, I need to just look real quick, because I really do wonder, did she have, okay, she did. Here's a trilogy. I'm looking at a different page, but it's a trilogy. I was going to say, I can imagine that she wrote something and then wrote like a sequel to it or something like that. That's what Gemini would do for you. It'll make you write a sequel. It'll make you write a series of books. And one just builds on the next, and it just gets better and better and better. And I can imagine wilder and wilder and wilder. So it looks like she did write some series of books. That's what I see when I look at that Gemini. So it's freaking amazing how much we can see in somebody's chart. Yeah. This is amazing. This is amazing. I hope that this has been interesting to you, and I surely have enjoyed looking at it. So thank you all so much. Let me know your thoughts and insights about what I have shared with Miss Butler. And I look forward to hearing from you all. And thank you so much for being a part of the Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. Just a quick update at the making of this video, July 25th. The Inner Circle doors are going to be open for just a few more days before I close them. They close 11:59 p.m. July 31st. So please feel free to come on into the Inner Circle and to be a part of the community and the teaching and the love, and feeling like, I got this. I know what I'm supposed to do, so that you can stay on the straight and narrow. Join us, goddessbodymindspirit.com. You can learn more about the Inner Circle there. And you all have a wonderful rest of the day. All right, take care. Peace and love.